Hello and welcome to Coffee and Bonsai with Tom. Today we're going to work on this beautiful specimen of semi Cascade variegated Portulacaria Afra. Take a look at it here. You can see it's grown quite a bit. I'll put a link to the video. This is really only the second pruning on this. I'll put a link to the video and you can see the initial pruning, but it's grown quite well. And it looks very healthy. It's got a lot of growth on it, and it's time to give it a little bit of styling so we're not wasting too much effort just growing these long shoots, and I can start developing branches and layers where I want them. Because you can see it's kind of busting out all over, and look at the trunk here. It's kind of got an interesting, gnarly looking, kind of, it looks quite aged, and I'm probably going to keep this on to heal this area. This was really badly damaged when I got it, but it seems like it's aging nicely, and I think having some growth there will help to heal that up. So I'm going to leave. It will not be part of the final bonsai, I don't believe, but I'm going to leave some of that on there. But let me adjust the camera so you can see what I'm doing, and we will get started on basically just pruning this. And it's kind of like, I wouldn't call it maintenance. It's really sort of semi-structural. I'm going to start by just getting rid of some of this. Like I said, I want to keep a bit on here to encourage this to heal, but I don't need all this. I sort of want to mention too, I just love this clay pot. It's like just a simple Japanese, probably production pot. I mean, I've had it forever, but and I love how the fertilizers and stuff leach out to it, so you get this really cool patina. It almost looks like a white pot as it comes out of it, and it's good for this type of plant because it also helps it to dry. And so this, I'm thinking I only want the foliage out here in the bottom. So I don't know. I think this is. I'm just going to cut it here for now, but we'll see. I may take that off. Uh, eventually. I'm not exactly sure. Um, and let's take a look and see what we have here. It's kind of growing quite a bit. I got to keep sliding it around because it hangs off to the side. But if you look at this, I think I might want this as the. I'm sort of imagining that as the new leader, and then we'll kind of have like from here to the right, kind of do some branching um, off of it. So I'm going to cut this off at the top to encourage it to. This will be the new leader to encourage it to branch out and get some division. And the rest of it, I'm just going to kind of cut it back, and then we'll come in and do some more detailed styling. But I don't want this on here because it really competes with the main, what I want to be the new top. And I really want some pads that kind of come from there on over, which I've already got a start on that. So I can imagine this growing up and these kind of coming and filling out. And I think it'll be um, quite charming. We also got this lower layer. Um, and anyway, that's my vision. Hopefully you can see it from my description. I'm just kind of forming a triangle out here, which we will then further and further develop over the years. So I'm just cutting these back to a couple sets of leaves, and then here we go, sliding around. And then we'll come back and fine tune that as we go. Yeah, so the goal here is to just get a nice tight triangle defined, and then I'll let this grow out. These grow pretty slowly, and like I said, this is really only the second um, pruning on this. It took it a while. Like when I first put this in a pot, it literally had no roots at all. So it was coming from quite a deficit, and it was kind of like rounded, so it was completely sealed on the bottom. It took it a while to grow roots, but now you can see it's quite healthy. So I'm expecting the growth and development to accelerate on it, and I'm just coming in here and really taking this back to a couple sets of leaves because there's just a lot of stuff that we don't need here. Something growing straight down, which I definitely don't want. And I think already even you can see what I'm going for. I think it'll just be really a charming I imagine this tree would be kind of hanging out over the edge of a cliff, possibly under some shade where it's really growing nothing except out on the edge, where it's reaching for the sun. And I'm super excited about it. I think it'll be a really kind of an interesting tree. And it's got kind of a beefy trunk kind of hanging over the edge. Let me just get it in here so you can really get a uh, see the vision of kind of what I'm going for. But that would be the top, and I think I'll kind of thin it out a little bit. I'm trying to get rid of the old leaves, so I think it just looks better and encourages it to allows more sun to get everywhere, and it encourages even tighter growth. And these variegated, they do grow more slowly, and but man, they get really nice tight growth. And oh geez, well, I didn't mean to cut all that off, but I think it's fine. Sometimes that happens, you get going with the scissors, and before you know it, but I think that'll come back, and if it doesn't, it's not the end of the world. You can see more of the primary trunk there, but you can imagine this kind of growing straight up and then having some pads come out. Same thing here. It'll kind of come out this way, and we'll have this lower level doing the same thing. I don't really want stuff coming back towards the inside of the tree. I want everything to go outward. Um, and yeah, the back here is still a bit busy. And I really do think the other side is the front, but this could also be, you kind of want it to look good from all angles, if possible. And, I think this will also be convincing. So I'm just kind of cutting this back to just a couple sets of leaves to really encourage more branching and more options. And usually you end up cutting half of that new stuff off because half of it's gonna go direction you don't want, maybe. Uh, but that's fine. We'll get a lot of new growth. And I don't think I want anything going back towards the trunk. I want it all going out to the tip. Um, and yeah, I think that'll work pretty well. Oh, sorry, I was off camera there. It's you get into it and I'm not really looking necessarily. Um, but yeah, I think this is looking pretty good out here. I've taken kind of a fair amount off out there, and I've noticed these variegated don't like to be just totally defoliated, so I don't. I kind of like to leave some stuff out there to just keep the juices flowing and keep the tree active, and I think that looks pretty good. I mean, you can definitely see where we're going with this. Let me zoom in and give you a nice look at it. I think it's, even in the year, you see that's all we've cut off, which is easily, I don't know, over 3/4 of the foliage. So I don't want to take a whole lot more off. But let's just take a break, have a look at it, and see what else we might want to do here. I'm sort of thinking about some of that stuff on the back, especially that one in the middle. I don't know why. Um, but yeah, you can see as I imagine this growing out in all directions. I think we'll have a nice triangle out here, and I think yeah, I don't think I want to cut anything else off at the moment. I think I'll take this off because that just doesn't seem to make any sense there. As I said, I think I said I'm leaving the one in the back to sort of heal a wound out there, and it actually looks pretty good from this angle as well. Right, you got a lot of foliage coming out, but I imagine this is being the back, and I could probably thin this out um, a bit more here, but I think we'll let it go. And like I said, this back will encourage this to heal, and yeah, I think we're just about done with this. And yeah, so I see this growing out this way, and we have a nice triangle defined, and I think that's about a wrap. So let's move on to the thought for the day. Um, and I think the thought for the day is this is a good one. Like, when you get a piece of material, oftentimes it's suggests a style, and like in this case, it strongly suggests a style. And I suggest you just kind of honor the tree's wishes and what it's doing, and just go with it, because it otherwise it can be an uphill battle. And so you're better off going with what the tree wants to do and sort of, directing it in that direction. I feel. And it seems like obvious advice, but I can't tell you how many workshops I've been to where somebody really has in their mind where they want something like this to be an informal upright, and they really go to all kinds of contortions to try to make that happen when, the tree really doesn't want to do it. I mean, in the infamous words of Clint Eastwood, a man has got to know his limitations. And with that, I want to thank you for spending time with me, and I look forward to seeing you all again very, very soon.